If you have to make a quick stop on your bike, do you know what to do? It's one of the most important maneuvers that might save your life. So we've got our friends from Rider Training Institute to show us emergency braking. So I'm here with Steve Keith. Steve's lead instructor, senior instructor with RTI.
Yes.
And the one I want to talk to you about today is that magic point where you know you've got to stop quick and work on those skills as to how quickly can you stop and how do you go about doing that without locking up your back and putting your back tire and putting your bike down.
Emergency braking, threshold braking, whatever you would like to call it. It's such an important skill that everybody has to continually practice with. It's something that I think a lot of our instructors and everybody should practice every spring. They've got their bikes put to bed for 6 months. You must come out and practice that. It has to be instinctual. When something happens in front of you, you have to know how to do that. And that's basically getting up to your maximum tire traction of stopping in the shortest, quickest, and safest and smoothest way possible. And it's, you know, pulling the clutch in, using the front and rear brakes smoothly and progressively. We need to stop our motorcycle, so we continue on that brakes until that situation has happened for us. And not locking up the tires and hopefully not using ABS. The ABS is there to save us, but we want to be able to do this smoothly and smoothly. It's something that we practice on our courses in the Sunday morning, and we practice it all morning. We think it's so important that people have to do.
You know, it's interesting you raise the point of ABS because virtually every car on the road now has ABS.
Yes.
A lot of bikes do not. Some of the newer ones and some of the larger Gold Wings and some of the larger Harleys, some of the newer bikes, they have it, but there's a lot of bikes that don't. But even with the bikes with it, it's important that you get that skill down so you're not relying on that.
Yes, because we don't always have the conditions like we have here. It's dry. Sometimes it is wet. So you have to know how to be smooth and that progressive of continually trying to stop there. And I know I practice almost every time I go out riding. I'll take 2 minutes and just see what my bike is. It's 500 pounds. Some bikes are 800, 900 pounds. Some are 200 pounds. There's different sitting positions. So they all act a little bit differently. And we want to make sure that we load up that suspension smoothly, slowly, and then continually do that front braking. And the front braking and the rear, the front is the majority of the power in all our bikes nowadays.
So you find that people have a habit of getting on the rears too hard before they get on the front, or is it the other way around? Like what do people tend to do?
It's a little bit of both. Depending if you're old school, some people never touch the rear brake, and some people just touch they're too hard on the rear brake. We want to just flex our ankle, not use our leg. And they get into that rear skid. And some people have been told by the wrong people not to touch the front brake. Your motorcycle will flip over. And that's just wrong.
We're not riding 10 speeds?
We're not riding 10 speeds. And if you're smooth and progressive and know how to do this and you practice it, so when that situation arises, it's not a panic. We don't want to grab, we don't want to stab the front brake. We want to be smooth and just pull it in. So when we have on our course, what we'll have our students get up into, start from a stop, they get up into second gear, and just a mid-level second gear, because they're just learning. And they'll practice that stopping, you know, clutch in, both brakes, come to a nice easy stop, making sure they're in first gear. Then eventually we'll start introducing that emergency, because a lot of times they're covering the levers. We'll just ask them to stop now, stop now. They may not know when that's happening. So just coming down, and we may have an instructor do this, and we're going to have an instructor, you know, just tell another instructor they're going to be coming down at a nice easy pace, and they'll just put their hands up to stop. And then this is when they have to react, not panic. Okay, it's an emergency, but not panic. Clutch will come in, both brakes, tapping down to first gear, and making sure that we do a head check or a traffic check in behind us.
So the single most important thing you can recommend then on emergency or threshold braking is often getting out and finding an empty parking lot where you've got a few parking spots that you can measure yourself on.
Correct.
And practice your braking.
Correct, for sure. Yes.
Challenge yourself to, you know, I could stop in 4 spots or 2 spots.
Yes. You get different bikes and you have different conditions. Can you stop your motorcycle, whatever the weight may be, smoothly? Because it has to be smooth, because we have to worry about 2 wheels and balance.
Right.
And making sure that when we stop, we've just avoided something maybe in front of us, that we were in first gear, because something may be coming from behind.
I was just going to
And
say that even though you're getting that stop done, you still got to be checking over your shoulders to
the
make sure
Ford
you're not getting run
F-150
over.
could be right behind you.
Thank you, Steve.
Cool. Thank you very much.